Great. Okay. So, right. Okay, great. So you can all still see my screen, right? And you can all still hear me.
Right, I can.
Oh, great. Just checking to make sure that my sound and my screen are all working well. Okay. So who is this for? This presentation is for employees, entrepreneurs, business owners, students, unemployed women, you, specifically you, any kind of person. It doesn't matter if you have a lot, you have little, you have something, you had something and then you lost it. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are and how much you have financially. We can all be setting financial goals. Because finances affect every part of our lives, right? Even when you decide that you want to set a goal to live in a certain place, money is involved. Even if you want to set a goal to eat healthy, money is involved, right? You want to set a goal to go to the gym, money is involved. In a lot of things, money is involved. So I want us to start with the end in mind. I think this is always a great way to shorten the process when we start by looking at the end, right? Let's imagine you have arrived at your destination. In fact, you don't have to imagine because you have arrived at destination 2022. Once upon a time, last year, January 2021, it was like a year away. In 12 months, we're going to be in 2022. It seemed so far. In 2020, it was like 2 years away. So it was a destination and now we're there. So we are there right now. And how have we done? So before we go into setting goals for 2022, I want us to just review, have a look back. I know I encouraged you to bring a pen and a paper today. So if you do have your pen and paper, you can just bring it out and I'll ask you some questions to help jog your memory and see how the journey from 2021 January has been all the way till now, right? And see how it's been like in the last year. And this is for you, if you set financial goals for 2021, and maybe even if you didn't, right, but you thought about it during the year, it crossed your mind that, oh, I would like to do this. I'd like to do this with my finances. I'd like to achieve this, even if you didn't set something, right, put it in writing. So just have a think. And this information is purely between you and your paper. So you don't have to worry about sharing it with us if you don't want to. How was your savings last year? Like over the last 12 months, right? What about investing? Did you think about investing maybe towards retirement or towards a particular goal? Was that something that you desired? And if it was, how did that turn out? What about debt? Did you have debt last year and were you hoping to pay off some debt? And if you are hoping to pay off any debt, how did that go? And then when we look back at last year, as we know, we've arrived at our destination, welcome. And how was your spending? Let's say, what was your goal last year? How did you want to spend? How did you want to feel when you were spending? Did you want to feel like you were spending on things that were important? And now looking back, do you actually know where your money went? So you can write that down as well, like for yourself, like, yes, I know where my money went. I tracked my money. I know where it goes each month. Or I roughly have an idea where it goes each month. I'm not completely sure. Or I have no idea. I know I thought I should have much more than this right now, but I don't. And I'm not sure where it went. So whichever it is for you, you can write it down, or if it's something else. And another thing is like, did you make time to, time for your money last year? Did you make time to make plans? Or did the money just go on emergencies that came up? Or maybe you actually avoided thinking about money the whole year or most of the year. So you want to write that down and just reflect on last year. What did you want to do? What did you want to achieve? And how has it shown up for you? How has that happened? Were you able to achieve what you wanted to achieve?
She's upstairs.
And this is an important one. Just put guys on mute. If you wanted to achieve something and you did achieve it, why? What do you think was that thing that made you achieve that goal? And my next question is, if you wanted to achieve something and you didn't achieve it, why? What do you think was that thing that didn't let you achieve it? And if you have anything that you feel like you'd like to share, feel free to share it in the chat. I'll share some of mine with you. I did have some goals. I wanted to achieve some things last year. There was a certain amount I wanted to put in investments, and I didn't fully reach that amount. Towards the end of the year, I decided to redirect some money towards different, towards investing in myself. So 1 second. And so that was one thing that I didn't completely achieve as for myself in the way I wanted to do that. And what stopped me was I changed my goal per se. That was what stopped me. I kind of changed my goal. So it wasn't, I'm hearing some feedback. So it wasn't exactly the way that I it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. But in other areas, there was some debt I wanted to clear off, and I was able to clear that amount off. And this year, again, there are more things that I've put in. I want to save even more for this year. But last year, I know that the reason why I didn't achieve one of my goals was because I changed it halfway through. I redirected my focus and I decided I wanted to do something else. And that's okay too. And that's okay too, if, but it's good to have an idea going forward. Why didn't you do this and why did you? So knowing the reason why is so important, because having goals is great, but if you don't know why you had those goals, then you wouldn't be motivated to achieve them. And having goals is great, but if you're not sure why you didn't achieve it, you might be beating yourself up for not achieving a goal when you actually changed your mind or something like that. If for example, if my situation was similar to yours. Okay. So that was reflecting over last year's goals. And I hope you've been writing. Let me know. I can't see, maybe, yeah, let me know in the chat if you're actually taking notes. You're reviewing your goals from last year. Because that's so important, because we have a new destination loading. 2023 is 12 months away. So we have 12 months to go. And we both now are in a position where we can decide what our destination is going to look like. And what 2023 is going to look like is going to be based upon, what we decide, how the goals that we set and how we pursue them. So I'm sure but like the next 1 year or 3 years or the next 5 years, you are and I, both of us, all of us are going to arrive at a particular destination. In 10 years, we are going to be somewhere. In 5 years, we're going to be somewhere. And next year, January 2023, we are going to be somewhere. We're going to have a certain amount in savings. We're going to have a certain amount in investments. We're going to have a certain amount with regards to debt. We're going to feel a certain way with regards to money. We're going to be doing certain things. We're going to have traveled certain places or not traveled certain places. We're going to have given a certain amount, or we're going to have spent a certain amount. So we would have arrived somewhere, but now we have to decide what we want that place to look like. And it's completely in our hands to decide. But the thing is, if we don't decide, then life will decide for us. And if we let life decide for us, then just like many people do, we will end up having futures of or lives that we don't like, living in places we don't want to, doing things we don't want to do, working in jobs we don't want to do, or even being with people we don't actually like because we didn't make a plan. We didn't set goals to actually be the kind of person we really want to be, or have the things that we want to have, or do the things that we want to do. So those who achieve those goals, those who have the lives that they want, are those who set goals and pursue them. And that's us. But why? Oh, yeah, but why? Why should we set goals, and why do some people not set goals? Right? And I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about why it's important to set goals, and I've been thinking about why some people haven't set goals in the past. I'm looking in the chat. Okay, Linda says she's taking notes and she's reached some goals, but could have been better. Spent more than I should have. Some plans, some not. Yeah, exactly. So that's great. There's no need to beat ourselves up about it, but it's good to know. So we know exactly, our strengths and our weaknesses. And as we move forward into our goal setting for 2022, then we know exactly how to better ourselves. Okay. And so why we set goals and why we don't. And I've found that, and I've summarized into 3 main things. And I think these 3 main things are the reasons why we either set goals or not. And it's funny because it's exactly the same thing. But just as, some people will do something because of a certain thing, someone else would not do that thing just because of a certain thing. Some people like going jogging in the sun. And some people say, because it's sunny, I'm going to stay indoors and be in the cool shade, right? So it's very interesting. So the 3 things that I've found is security, status, and support. And I want you to let me know in the chat if you find that this is true. Maybe not for you, but maybe for someone else that you might know. So listen to the stories that and all these stories, I've kind of made them up just to support this particular point, okay? Right. Okay, so the point of security, right? So Martha doesn't set financial goals because she's comfortable, right? She has a good job. She's doing what she wants to do, and she's fine. There's no need for her to rock the boat. So because everything is it's sailing smoothly, she doesn't set goals. So she doesn't have to push herself. She doesn't need to be something else that she's not. So she just chills. I'm just like, oh, set goals. Well, she's got everything anyway. Whereas her sister Maureen sets goals because she needs money. She's setting goals because she needs money to afford to feed, to clothe, and to live. So she's like saying, I need a new job because the job I have is not paying me enough and I can't, afford ABC. She's saying, I need to scale my business because I have employees and I can't pay the salaries. So I need to find a way to scale so that I can, bring in more money, pay more salaries, and impact more lives. She's certainly, it's both security based. It's both like they're looking at their bodies per se, like their flesh, and they're thinking, I have this or I don't have this, right? So they're either safe or they're not. Then status, right? So Kat doesn't set goals because she doesn't want to feel judged if she has too much money, right? So she's like, okay, I'm doing well. And if I set a financial goal to be even more, to have even more, then everyone around me is going to think that I'm greedy. It's going to think that if I decide to get a better car, or if I decide to, get a bigger house, everyone's going to say I have too much money. They're going to look down on me. They look down on me for having too much money. They're going to make me feel bad. They're going to, make me feel like I shouldn't be spending on luxuries. Whereas Kerry says she wants to set a goal because she wants that new car. She wants that new phone. She wants to go on that holiday. But her reason is like so that, you know, she can feel admired, so she can share the pictures and the experiences with her friends. So that's kind of status, right? And then support, that's the final one. And I find that, you know, with security and status, there, you know, it's fine to set goals because of security or status. And I understand why people don't set goals because of security or status as well. But I find that support is also a really big one. So for example, Tam doesn't set goals because all she wants to do is support her family. She already has a good routine and she's worked for 10 years. So there's no need to change what is working. She doesn't want to push herself, and she doesn't want to change what's working. She's been working in this certain way for 10 years. It supported her goals. If it's not broken, why fix it? That's her point of view. And I don't know if let me know in the chat if you know anybody like any of these people. If, you know, they probably don't know they should set goals because they're like, well, if it's not broken, why fix it? I already know what to do. They have habits that they've been doing for 15 years. And actually those habits have worked. They've helped them. So they don't push themselves. Let me know in the chat if you know anybody like that. Or maybe even if it's you, right? But here's the thing that I find about setting goals, especially financial goals, is that when you achieve them, it actually changes you. It changes your character. It creates trust within yourself, because trust within yourself is such an important one, because it's saying that I can keep my word. The word I say to myself. I said I'm going to go for a walk this week and I did it. So I believe that what I said is true. I believe that what I say about myself is true. I believe that what I think about myself is true. And that has this big impact on self-esteem. And, you know, and then that motivates us to actually do more. So achieving goals creates trust, integrity within ourselves. This has nothing to do with other people, within ourselves. When we set goals, we transform. And I believe God uses goals to cause us to grow and to transform us in the process. Achieving goals, like I said, is transformational. And it's God's desire for us to prosper. So when we set financial goals, one, we're in line with his desire for us to prosper. Two, he will transform us while we are changing to being the person that we want to be. Because we know that after we set goals, doing the work is a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing, because now you need to be able to motivate yourself to actually do it, to actually do the work. Now, achieving big financial goals means that you become the type of person that can bless not only yourself, your family, but also bless your community. So when we go for bigger goals, not just, okay, I want to take care of myself and my son, right? But we go for bigger goals, we're able to impact more people and bless more people, you know, for God, we're able to bless more people. And we are blessing from a place of abundance, not from a place of scarcity. We're blessing people from a place of, I have more than enough. So I have enough for myself and I have extra for others as well. Okay, so now if you have your pens and papers again, bring them out again. We're heading straight to 2023 now, and we're starting by creating a vision, right? We're going to create that vision, and that's your vision for yourself, for your finances right now from 2020 all the way to January 2023. So in your mind's eye, look at 2023 right there. Maybe it's in front of you, maybe it's to your left, maybe it's to your right, wherever you see it in your mind's eye. Look at 2023 and let's figure out who you're going to be. So 12 months from now, what type of life do you want to live in 2023? It's 12 months from now. So, but what would you like? Where would you like to be? What do you want to achieve in your finances? So I want you to take some time to like write this down, and I can send these slides to you. Let me know in the chat if you would like me to send these slides with these questions. I can send them to you via email. What would you want to achieve in your finances? Like maybe in your savings, 12 months from now, what would you like your savings account to look like? What would you like your investment account to look like? What would you like your debts to look like if you have debts? If you run a business, what would you like your business to look like financially? What would you like your, and a lot, your financial goals, your goals don't always have to be financially based. Like, I want to save 10,000, I want to be investing 5,000, it doesn't always have to be that. Even if it's, I want to go on a trip somewhere, right? Because it's a nice thing, it's an experience, but you do have a financial cost to it, right? So it can be like that. So you can say, oh, I want to go on a trip to ABC, somewhere nice, or, to visit family somewhere. And that's, going to cost me this amount of, thousands of pounds or dollars. And then also ask yourself, what does success look like for you? In the next 12 years, 12 months rather, what would success be like? Right? And why? Why do you want it? So success may be like, oh, I am helping, I was able to help my family with, support my family with X amounts of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, or maybe even $200, right? I was able to support my family in this way without stressing. I didn't have to worry about it. Maybe success for you was, oh, random unexpected things happened and unexpected bills came through, but I was able to pay it off because I had enough in my emergency fund. I didn't really stress about it. Maybe that's what success looks like for you. Maybe success looks like I hired more people in my business, or success looks like I got some help. I was able to pay to get some help around the house, so I was able to rest more, right? So you paid, you were able to afford a cleaner, and so you were able to rest more, and you were able to be more present with your family, with your children, or with, your friends. So for you, write down what success would look like for you financially 12 months from now. It doesn't always have to be, oh, I have, it could be success for you could also be, I have this amount in my savings, I have this amount in my investments, I did this with my money, and that's what success looks like for you. Maybe success for you was like, I tracked my money every single month. Or maybe it's, you were able to change your car. So we're looking at your vision for just the next year. And we're just trying to, make it a little bit more specific. And checking how our finances can support that vision. Maybe for you, it could also be, I gave a lot more to my church, right? So 12 months from now, another angle you can also use is 12 months from now, who do you want to be? Who do I want to be 12 months from now? I want to be less stressed. I want to be free. I want to be excited, right? Maybe that's what's 12 months from now, that's the kind of person, want to be. Maybe you want to feel abundant. You want to know that you have complete sufficiency. Everything you need, you have. Everything you want, you can get, and you know how to get it. Maybe that's how you like to be. What do you want to do in the next 12 months? Maybe that's get a new job, start your new business, increase your new business, travel somewhere, get something specific, or maybe even get a new phone, change your car. Maybe it's something specific. What do you want to have? So if you have any big goals any big things that you think, oh, I need to pay for this, in the next 12 months, it's great to start to think about it now and not wait till the last minute. And then how would you like to give? I know many of us, maybe you go to church, something you want to give. Sometimes you might feel like, oh, I wish I could give more, but I don't, but I can't because I don't have, or something like that. So just in your vision, how would you like to give? How would you like to feel when you give to your church or your community, or, maybe someone homeless that you see on the street, or your friends or your family, or even if you're giving someone a birthday gift, right? You're a good friend, a birthday gift, or your brother, your sister. How would you like to feel when you're giving? How would you like to be able to give them without thinking, oh gosh, I'm giving them this, but I really can't afford to? Or I can give because I have so much. And that so much is very relative, right? Because someone may think 100 pounds is so much, someone else may think 100 pounds is, so little. So it's all relative. Okay, are we all good? Any questions so far? Okay, great. So now let's turn that vision that we've made up, that vision that we have in our minds, let's turn it into desires and goals, because that vision is full of desires, wants, hopes, dreams, and some goals, right? So now I want us to turn it into a goal. But before we do that, we're going to separate the desires from the goal. And it's so important we do this, because if you confuse desires and goals and you think that your desire is your goal and you don't achieve it, then you can start beating yourself up for something that you could never have achieved in that time frame anyway, right? Okay. So as I explain this more, you'll get what I mean. Actually, let me give a good example. Let's say I have 1 month and my desire is, right now I'm saying my desire is to, let's say I have one night today, like it's 6 p.m. UK right now. And I say my desire is to be in Texas by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's my desire. I really want to go to Texas right now to see my dear friend. Let's say that's the desire. Now, as much as that is a desire, there is no way that would happen, because one, I'm in my house. I'm not going to get to the airport until the next 2 hours. Is there going to be a flight? Is it fully booked? Can I get on the flight? And even if I get on the flight, would it land by 6 a.m.? Possibly not, right? Now, so let's assume possibly not. Let's assume the next flight will takes off tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. UK time. So as much as I have that desire, I can never achieve it. And then if I think I didn't even achieve it, I could start beating myself up because I didn't realize that I couldn't turn that desire into a goal. Now, it's important to have desires, and I'll show you how we treat them, because we treat desires with the openness, right? That I want this, I'm praying for this, I'm hoping for this, and I'm doing the work, and it might happen when I say it will, or it might take a little bit longer. But with goals, we can set them and we can put the time frame to them, and we can ensure that they happen how we say how we say we want them to happen. And I'll show you how. So first, we separate the desire from the goal. The desires are the results that you want to have, but there's no way of confirming that it will happen, right? So it's out of your control. Maybe you have 5% control over it. You can pray about it, you can hope, you can do certain things, but overall it's out of your control. You can desire that, like I said, I can desire that I get to Texas tomorrow morning by 6 a.m. But based on time difference and flights and everything, like I may not be able to get there. If there was a snowstorm, I could desire that I'm able to get to a particular place, but if the roads are blocked, then it's out of my control. Goals are attitudes, action steps that you will do to achieve the desired result, irrespective of the result. Now, I can desire that by January 2023, my business brings in, let's say, $1 million, right? Now, that is a huge desire. And good, I shouldn't hold back from having that desire, right? But when I set my goals, I have to look at, okay, can my business do that? Do I have the manpower to do that? Do I have enough clients to be able to bring in that money? Do I have, or if it's a product-based business, do I have the right products to bring that money? Do I have the marketing and the advertisements in place to bring in the sales, right? So as much as your business can have that desire, then to set it into a goal, we need to turn it and separate the desire from the goal. Is it achievable? So the goals, I'm just going to repeat this, are the attitudes, the behaviors, and the action steps that we will do to achieve that result, to achieve that desired result, irrespective of the result. So that means that if I start thinking and seeing that, oh, I desire this, but it's not happening, I don't stop the attitude, the behavior, or the action steps, because the goal is different. I can have a desire to make £1 million, but if I'm saying, okay, my attitude, my goals, my action steps, okay, I'm going to give this amount of value every day. I'm going to do this amount of value every week. I'm going to sell this amount of products every month. Now, if I get to month 6, and I start noticing that, oh, I've been selling all these products and it's not actually getting me closer to, maybe now I'm on 100,000. I'm not even close to 1 million. In my mind, I can decide I'm just going to give up. But no, I mustn't, because the goal is not the desire. The goal is we set a goal to achieve a certain thing. We can set a goal to say, I'm going to do ABC every day. I'm going to sell X amount of products every day. I'm going to do all these things every day because my desire is to achieve this result. Does this make sense? It'll become clearer as I break down this achieving goals even further next. Okay, so just know that desires, you can have little control over the outcome, but a lot of control over your attitude, your behaviors, and your action steps. So don't let the outcome discourage you from doing your part, right? Okay, so now let's set some goals. So you're getting your paper out, and we're going to do a very super simple way of setting goals, right? Now, I don't know what your goals are. Like maybe you want to give more, to build an emergency fund. Maybe you want to feel more abundant, to increase your investing, to start investing, maybe to track your spending, to learn more about, crypto, maybe to save more, to rest more, to start a business, maybe to close down a business, and streamline your focus, maybe to support a family member financially, to build up your mindset, to clear certain amounts of debt, to protect your finances, get some insurance, set up your will, put life insurance in place, protect your family, to track your spending, get a new job, increase your income. I don't know what your goals are for the year, but I want you to just set one main goal. No, and don't look at this screen and tell me all these are my goals. So you can share in the chat what your goal is for the year if you want to share that with us. But I want you to set one main goal. Is that possible, or do you have like 10 that you have to set and you can't even pick one? So give everyone about 10 seconds. Just set one main goal and you can drop it in the chat. And pick a goal that by doing so will help you almost knock out your other goals. It'll help you knock out your other goals. So now we're dealing with, we're focusing, we're streamlining, we're going to give our brain one objective first. Oh, so in the chat, buy a small multi-family unit from Tiffany. Amazing, amazing. So that's one main goal. That's great. Anybody else? Getting into investments, great. So that's one main goal. So you know that this is what you're focused on. Amazing. Thank you, Faye, for that. Anybody else? Keep dropping yours in the chat as well. And next thing, we're going to set up your rules for your money goals so that you win, right? We're setting everything up so that you win. We're not setting it up so that, based on anybody's rules. I'm sharing with you these, but if you can edit them to make sure that you win. So first, set one main goal for the year, that if you achieve it, it will lead to success in other goals, right? Then secondly, once you achieve it, you can now move on to your next goal, or you can make a new, either next goal that you are thinking or a brand new goal. Like I shared with you last year, towards the end of the year, a new goal popped up for me, right? And I went for it. Then third thing is, don't give yourself 12 months to achieve that goal. Like you want to buy a multi-family unit, don't give yourself 12 months to achieve it. Now, I'm not saying it won't take 12 months, it could, but aim for 90 days or 6 months. And then, so you're pushing yourself, because there's a law that says you can give yourself the whole day to, write a note or write a letter. You'll likely take the whole day. If you gave yourself the whole week to write a report, you'll take the whole week. But if you give yourself an hour to write, you'll probably just take an hour. So don't give yourself the whole 12 months to achieve that goal. Give yourself 3 months or 6 months, or then if you need more time, then go on to 7 months or 8 months or something like that. But try to squeeze it, because time expands. Honestly, I tell my family this all the time and they laugh at me. So I'm sharing it with you. Time expands. If you say I'm going to take 1 year to save £1,000, it'll take you 1 year and you'll save that £1,000 in the last month. But if you say you're going to take 30 days, then you could possibly achieve it faster. Now, I'm not saying that you achieve it in 30 days, but you might achieve it in 60. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. And then lastly, with regards to setting up rules, your goals shouldn't be too easy that you can achieve it without much effort. Neither should your goals be so, neither should you set goals that will cost you your values to achieve. Do you get what I mean? Like you have to compromise something that you really hold dear. If you hold dear time with family, with your children, with your partner, then look at setting goals that will not cost you all of that time, unless of course you've communicated this with that person. Maybe you value integrity, right? Integrity is a big thing for you, or honesty. Then don't set goals that will put you in a situation where you have to compromise on those values, or compromise on your integrity or honesty or something like that, right? Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Yes, if it makes sense. No, if it doesn't. Okay, great. So yes. Okay, great. Good. Okay, so 7 steps. So now we've set goals. We've set them, right? You've written them down. Yes, it does. Okay, good. You've written them down. You've picked one. I know you have, because some people shared it with me in the chat. You've picked one main goal. If you haven't, you can still do that now. Pick one main goal that you say, I'm going to achieve in 12 months. We know the time already is 12 months, but you're going to try and squeeze it to achieve it even sooner, so you can squeeze in another goal or a third or a fourth before the year runs out. Now that we've clarified the vision, we've set our goals, now we've separated what goals are from desires. Now we're going to test those goals and make sure that that one goal that we've set is actually achievable in 2022. And this is the present way. It's one of the ways. It's I call it the present way, but it's an acronym that one of my mentors shared with me, and I've edited it just a little bit, but it's really good. One of my mentors, David, he shared this with me. So presence, it's an acronym for how to set achievable goals. So now you've set that goal, we have a time frame on it, and we know it's not a desire, we know it's a goal, something that we can control, but we're going to test it. So keep your goals right in front of you on your sheet of paper. Write your goal, your main goal, nice and bold on your sheet of paper. Then under that, on the next line, write P for positive. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to answer this to make sure that we're testing that goal. And it's important that we set positive goals. Now, when I say positive goals, I'm not saying that you should set a happy goal because, you might be set a goal to save more, and that might not make you extremely, happy. It may just make you feel neutral, like, yeah, I'm saving this week, so I'm not going to that party, But when I say positive, what I mean is that you're setting a goal you actually deeply desire. So that's what I mean. It's positive. So it's positively aligned with your core. You actually deeply desire this. This is something that God has told you about, has given to you. It's deep inside you. Then, and one way of figuring this out is asking yourself, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I want this goal? Yeah, so you can ask yourself that. How much do I want this goal on a scale of 1 to 10? Do I really, really want it, like 10, 11, 12, off the scale? Or is it it's a 5, 6, it's in the middle somewhere? That's how we know if it's positive. It's in the middle somewhere, then you want to check it. You want to check that goal. Next thing is responsible. R for responsible. Are you setting goals that you are fully responsible for? Like, you own them. Like, I can say this mouse is mine. I own this computer mouse. I can say I have a cell phone. I own it. I'm completely responsible for that phone. Or does it depend on somebody else? So ask yourself this question: am I fully responsible for my goal? Or does it depend on someone else? Do I have to rely on someone else to achieve that goal? Now, there may be goals that you absolutely always have to rely on someone else to achieve. To a certain degree, you want to make sure that most of the things that you are setting are things that you can be responsible for. Let me give an example. Let's say you want to save more and you're working a 9 to 5. Yeah, to an extent, it's dependent that you still have a job. But as long as you still have a job, it's now 100% your responsibility that when your paycheck comes in, you put some money aside in savings or investments. Someone said they want to get into investments. Now it can be your responsibility 100% that you educate yourself, and then you take the steps necessary to start, getting into investments. You want to buy a rental, multifamily unit, right? So real estate. Yeah, so with real estate, maybe if you're buying it from someone else, yeah, or other people, there may be people who are, intertwined in the decision process. But for what the goal that you would now set will be the actions that you would take on your part. So on your part, you will have the funds ready. On your part, you would have done the research you need to do. On your part, you will have done the calculations. You would know the tax. You would know everything that needs to happen so that when the right opportunity pops up, you're able to take that action. So therefore, you are now completely responsible for that goal. So the goal can now be stated in a way that ensures that I am going to do ABC to ensure that I will buy this family home. I will start investing. I will do these type of things. Does this make sense? Is everyone still with me? Okay, so E is environment. So now you want to ask yourself, great, everyone's still here. Okay, good. So now you want to ask yourself, where do I want to be to achieve this goal? And you want to look at it now and also after you've achieved it. And the reason why that's important is because the environment where you would be after you've achieved it is probably the environment you need to be to achieve the goal as well, or that you need to start getting into. And when I say environment, I mean like everything around you, the place, like the area that you are in, the people around you, things you see, conversations you hear, things you say, things you smell, depending on the type of goal you set. So questions would be, where do you want to be to achieve your goal? Let's say your goal is academic. You want to, I've been doing some financial exams lately with and they've been tasking. And so I've needed to be in a very quiet place because I've been studying all through Christmas. So what environment did I need to achieve the goal of passing those exams? Would have been like a library or my room, but without interruptions, right? Where do you need to be to achieve your goal? And maybe when do you need to be there? Then environment also includes people. So who do you want to be around to achieve your goal? So these are the people that you desire. So who do you want around you so that you can achieve your goal? Maybe sometimes things are better done together because you can get there faster, right? I mean, I've been talking all about togetherness this year, and I will talk more about that. And then the next question is, what do you need around you to achieve your goal? Maybe you need some, positive conversations, or you need to be speaking around people who are in the kind of field you want to go into, real estate rooms, real estate meetings, investment rooms. Maybe that's the kind of environment you need around you so that you're constantly hearing what you want to do, hearing people doing what you want to do, right? Maybe you're a business person, you want to be in rooms where they're talking about business. Maybe you're thinking about starting your business. So you want to be in rooms with new entrepreneurs and hearing their struggles, what they've been through, so you can avoid it or so you can be encouraged by it. So, for example, to reduce spending on unnecessary things, for example, what environment would you need to be in? Maybe you don't need to be around people who love spending on unnecessary things, right? Maybe that's an environment you need to stay on. Maybe you don't need to. All right, let's see the next one. 1 second. Someone just joining us. To save more and invest safely, where do you need to be? Who do you need to be around? What do you need to do? What would that look like if you want to save and invest more? Maybe you need to have more investing apps around you on your phone. Maybe if you're on your computer, maybe have know which apps to be registered with or websites to be registered with. Maybe you need some books to learn more. Maybe that's what you need around you. Maybe you need to be around people who are already investing. Where do you need to be? You might just be okay in your house, right? You might not need to be anywhere spectacular for that goal. Senses. So S represents senses. Now, with senses, I want you to think about what you will see, what you will hear, what you will feel as you achieve the goal, what you will say, and when you have already achieved your goal. So as you're achieving it and when you've done it already. So what will you see? What will you be seeing as you achieve your goal? Maybe you're on the phone, you're always on Instagram, maybe you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on Google, you're on Reddit, and you see what? You're reading up on investments, you're reading up on property, you're reading up on real estate, you're reading up on whatever your particular goal is. If it's nothing directly financially related, but can have an impact on your finances, like maybe going on a trip or changing the way you changing your food style. Maybe you're going all vegan, for example. So it can have an impact on the kind of what you spend in the grocery store. Then you can think about, what do you need to be seeing to go on that trip? What do you need to be hearing to ensure that you remain vegan? Or if you want to go sugar-free, what do you need to be doing? What kind of environment do you need to be around? What do you need to see? What do you need to hear? What do you need to start doing now? What will you be watching, listening to, right? Because our thoughts are built up from our senses. We see things, we hear things, everything filters into us, and the next thing we start to do things, we start to form ideas and decide and make decisions, and it affects our attitudes, it affects our behaviors, it affects the actions that we take, and then it can affect our goals, because if we start listening to things that are not pushing us towards our goals, it can affect us, being motivated. What conversations will you be having about money, about life? So I'm talking back again about money goals. But even if your goal is not directly linked, if it's not exactly a money goal, it's like a life goal, but indirectly it's linked to money anyway, what conversations will you be having about it? You want to go on a trip next year or by December. What kind of conversations are you going to have? You want to start investing in the stock market. What kind of conversations are you going to be listening to and having? Hopefully not one filled with fear, telling you that the stock market is going to crash next week and everyone's going to lose all their money. Or is it going to be conversations that will encourage you? If you're going into real estate, you're going to keep listening to conversations about how tenants rip off landlords, or you're going to be around landlords who are really doing well in that section, in that type of real estate. So E, the next one is E again, it's ecology. And this is all about, what impact will your goals have on yourself, loved ones, and others? And you want to think of the positive impacts and the negative impacts, if there are any. I'll give you an example. I really I said to my husband that I wanted us to move. I wanted to move somewhere else, and it wasn't a big thing. It's not like it was a deep, deep desired goal, but I like traveling. So I like the idea of moving countries and living somewhere else. Now, my husband's family are close-knit, and they all live like not too far from us. And we all live in the same, roughly the same city. Now, if we left, if I pursued that desire to travel and move to a different country for 2 years, what impact will that goal have on my loved one, on my husband and his family, right? Because they are close and they won't see each other. And my goal is just because I want to have fun and it's something that I like doing, traveling, right? I want to experience something new. I want to have that adventure, right? And but it's not such a big goal to me, but it's something like, it's nice to have. So if I pursued that, let's say that was a really big goal, it would have negative impacts. And because it would have negative impacts, it might be very hard to achieve. It would be very hard to achieve and still keep the family together. Give you a story that I heard of a man who wanted to travel. He wanted to travel and build a house where he was from a different country. He wanted to build his house in this other part of his country, and it was a very rural area. And his wife and family, they all lived in the city, very busy city. And he had been trying to build this house for years. And 10 years later, he still hadn't built it. Finally, when asking, why hadn't you built the house? He kept on giving up excuses, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so many excuses. When it came down to it, he realized that the reason he couldn't build that house was subconsciously because he knew that if he moved his wife and children to that rural city, they would be miserable. And subconsciously, he didn't want to lose his family or have them hate him for taking or putting their lives out of the city. And so he never was able to achieve that goal. And so it's very important to know, if your goals are positive or negative, if they have positive or negative impacts. I'll give you the end of the story. He eventually built the house, but he built it as a holiday home. So during the holidays, he took his family there and they spent 2 weeks there in the holidays, and then they came back to the city. When they all decided together as a family that that house was going to be a holiday home, it made the process so much easier. And he found out that he was able to build this house really quickly because he stopped blocking himself. He stopped preventing himself. So sometimes there are goals that we don't achieve because subconsciously we are stopping ourselves from achieving them. And if we are, check your ecology, check if there's an impact that you're trying to avoid. Okay, N is for navigate, right? And it's also for next as well. So navigate, what that is what's the very next step and the very last step that you will need to take to get to your goal, right? So you want to start investing. Let's say that's a goal. What's the very next step from now that you would need to take? It could be anything. There's no right or wrong answer. It could be watching a YouTube video on investing, maybe. And what is the very last step that you need to take to get to your goal? It could be anything. Again, it could be talking to someone and having them explain to you, speaking to a financial advisor. Maybe that's what it is. So for you, just write down what you feel is the very next step that you should do and the very last step that you would need to do to achieve that goal. And with this, you can go back into your mind and think, okay, I want to do this. What would it look like, right? And then the next thing is T for talents. What talents have you used to achieve your goals? And do you have any talents that you have used in the past or skills you've used in the past to help you achieve old goals? Or are there new skills that you might need to achieve these new goals? So you want to write those down. And as you've written them down, now you've really gone through this present way. You've now made sure that your goals are that much more achievable. So you've tested that goal through this method, the present way. And now you've made sure that it's so much more achievable. So now let's turn that goal back into a vision. So that one goal that you said, and we tested it through the present way, we're turning it back into a vision. And we're going to ask ourselves 6 questions. So what's your main goal? I'm asking you again. You can share it in the chat if you haven't before, or you can write it down on your sheet of paper. Write it down again. What's your main goal? for 2022? And now we're going into our vision, right? We're into our minds. So we're going to transport ourselves into 2023, 2023 January, 12 months from now. We write down and we're going to do like, oh, we've arrived. You've arrived, you're in a plane into 2023, and you have arrived at your arrival station of January 2023. Question 1, what is your main goal? What was your goal of 2022? What was your main goal of 2022? Question 2, what was the last thing you did to get this goal? So in your mind's eye, we know we're already in 2023. We've gone through January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We're in 2023. What was the last thing you did to achieve it? And then throughout the year, what did you see? Did you hear? What did you feel? What did you say? What conversations did you have to know that you got it? So maybe you bought the house, you bought the rental property, and you saw the keys. You heard the real estate agent saying, well done. You said, yes, thank you, Jesus. You felt happy and you knew you've achieved your goal. Maybe it's investing, right? And so you saw your investment account. You heard your, friend saying to you, oh my gosh, you did it. Wow, you started. Is that what you did? And you said, yes, I'm an investor. You felt happy. You said, yay, thank you, Jesus. You know you got it. You did your goal. So what would that be like? January 2023. What did you see, hear, feel to know you got it? Then what surprised you about getting this goal? What, in your mind's eye, what was it that happened? So 12 months down the line, you achieved your goal. What happened? Maybe you tried to buy a house and the person pulled out. They came back. They reduced the price. You negotiated. That was a surprise. You were trying to invest. You started investing. You got confused. You found someone who was able to really help you. And they helped you take action really quick. And then you surprised yourself because you were able to teach your family how to do the same thing. So think about it. Name at least one thing and try and get to 3 things that surprised you in your imagination of what it took to achieve this goal. Then number 5, was it worth it? When you look back at all the things it took to achieve the goal that you set for yourself, that you know is achievable because we've tested it, was it worth it? January 23, you're asking yourself, was it worth it to go through all this? And finally, what 3 obstacles did you overcome to achieve it? So you were trying to save, you had an obstacle where there was this huge expense that came out of nowhere and you were like, how on earth am I going to save and still deal with this expense? And you were like, oh no, it's going to stop me achieving my goal. So that was an obstacle, but you found a way around it. You calmed down, you thought it through, and you figured out that if you did A, B, C, D, you could still achieve your goal. Or maybe you achieved it by adjusting your goal as well. Maybe that was it. So name 3 obstacles you overcame. So the truth is that our brain needs to believe it before we can see it. And as we go through 1, starting with the vision, then 2, breaking it down into desires and goals. Like, what are things that I can control and things that I can do, and things that I want to have, but if it doesn't happen the way I desire it, it's okay. It'll happen in a different way, right? And then setting those goals. You have a time frame, 12 months, you've set the time. And then we've picked out the goal, but we picked out one main goal because we don't want to overwhelm our brain. We picked out one main goal and we said we're going to set that main goal. Now we know it's not a desire, it's a goal with a desired outcome. And we looked through the present way to check and to test that that goal was actually achievable, that we could still do, we could achieve it. And then after we've made sure that it's achievable, we now turned it back into a vision, and we looked in our mind's eye, okay, I know this goal is achievable, and this is how I would achieve it. These are the obstacles that came up, and these are the things that surprised me, but I still achieved it. And was it worth it? We answered that. Now we are getting to the place where our brain is believing it because we've already done it. We've already set the goal, set the vision, and tested that it was achievable. Then we achieved it in our mind. Now we have to keep up the momentum. We have to turn it into a next step. So the question to ask is, what next step are you going to take right now to ensure you achieve that goal? So you know what your goal is. We said we're going to set one main goal. It's one main specific goal. You know exactly what it is. You know it's when you want to achieve it by 12 months. Our time frame is there. You know what it exactly is. It's not a vague goal like I want more, I want to give more. I did give those kind of examples, but for you, you are going to set specific goals like you shared with me on the chat as well. So very specific goals. Then we're going to test it, right? And now I want to ask you, so we've tested it, we know everything, you know your goal. Now back to reality, what's your very next step? What are you going to do this week? Well, the week is ended, so starting tomorrow is a brand new week. What are you going to do this new week, starting tomorrow, to push you closer to that goal? What's the very next step? That's my question to you. And that's where we'll end for today. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. But my question to you is, what is the very next step? Let me know in the chat if that was helpful for you as you're setting your goals. And I want you to write down that very next step in your note, on your paper. And it's one thing you're going to do like this week, this very week. So write that next step down on your notepad and know that. And as you do that next step, you do that. Once you've done that, you do the very next thing. You do the very next thing after that. The super simple way is not to overwhelm your brain with loads on your to-do list. The super simple way is to pick one main thing and then write down your very next step, and then do that immediately, and then write down your very next step after that, and then do that immediately. Okay, very helpful, oh great, that's amazing. I want to save and pay off debt. I feel they are both equally important. How do I choose which one is my main goal? Okay, this is super simple. super simple. So you want to save, you want to pay off debt, exactly, literally the same thing on opposite sides, right? But why? My question is why? Why do you want to save? And then another question, why do you want to pay off the debt? Both very important, yes, but why? As you think about why, then you want to ensure that like once you figure out your why, to be honest, the answer will probably pop up. If it doesn't for you, you can ask again. And if you can't ask, you can just pick one. You can just pick one main goal. What are the benefits of saving? Like we go through the present. So ecology is what is the impact of achieving that goal. So you ask, why do I want to save, or why do I want to pay off debt, right? And then you have your answer. Then what is ecology? What is the positive impact of saving? You write down, or for you, for your family, and you write down, what is the negative impact of saving? If you save, you write that down. Then for the debt, what is the positive impact of paying off debt? You write that down. What is the negative impact of not paying off the debt? You write that down, right? So if you paid off the debt, what would happen? If you don't pay off the debt, what would happen? If you saved, what will happen? If you don't save, what would happen? And then you can probably pick which one you're most comfortable in dealing with. Does that help, Sylvia?
Yes, it did. I've decided to go with the debt.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, and the beautiful thing about paying off debt is like once it's paid off, like you just keep on with the same momentum, and then you're saving anyway, right? Great. Anybody has any more questions, let me know. And okay, if you need help in any way, you want to, so sorry, chat came in. Okay, great. I love that question. I want to save and pay off debt as well. Yeah, exactly. So I hope that helped. So you can also do exactly the same thing. And I'll send the slides through as well via email. I'll send them through. So yes, as I was saying, if you need help with your finances, I know we're just talking about setting goals today, but you need help in achieving them, feel free to book a call with me. And this is the link here, right here. So you can take a note of that, take a screenshot and save it on your phone, and feel free to book a call. And great, thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to say bye. But before we go, I always do something on my masterclasses, and that is just as you're leaving, put down something you've learned, because if you have information and you don't understand it, or you don't utilize it, it's kind of useless. One, I want to ensure that you fully understand what we've been discussing, and two, that you've taken away something. Three, you might have taken away something that someone else didn't get. They missed that. So you're going to be blessing someone else by sharing your greatest takeaway. So if you can just put that on the chat, let me know what your biggest takeaway is, or something that you're going to do right now is, either way, or anything that you would like to share, and that might help someone else. Let's little bit of giving back, shall we say. So put it in the chat. I would appreciate that so much. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for coming to the first masterclass of the year. I will see you in February. I'll release the date for February masterclass, shortly by the end of January. I'll see you in February. Have a great, great, great day. A great evening based on where you are in the earth, on the world. I said in the earth. Yeah, well, I guess we are in the earth. Okay, I'm receiving great ecology from President Acronym. Never considered how my goals impact on others. Amazing. Yeah, that's good. That's a really good one. Great. I like that as well. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to put something to support, to bless someone else with? And then if you want to leave, feel free to say bye and go. And I'll stop sharing now. Bye, Audrey.